It's Do Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Do Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you yesterday? Yesterday was Wow Wednesday, and we started off the morning with our girl Vivian and her socially conscious segment. And Vivian brought up those congestion prices. Remember, last year it was on and off, and then they were going to push it for a little while, and then they were going to stop it. And they said Trump said no, and Vivian's update. They are here to stay. They claim it at the 1-year anniversary that the program isn't going anywhere. 27 million cars have not gone down below the 60th Street congestion area here in New York City, and hundreds of millions of dollars have been made, and early results show that the policy is working. So there are fewer cars, there's traffic easing, and it's making it safer for the drivers as well as the transit system. Now, I don't know if you're going to put more people in the transit system and now that's going to make it better, but that's what the claims say. So with that information, they claim that there's been a real drop in crashes and injuries below that 60th, street congestion area. They say there have been 90 crashes instead of 200 crashes in the congestion zone. And as of January through spring, it fell by 13% and 15% across the entire city. Now they claims that, that this is helping to calm the traffic, and buses and taxis are running faster, and it's reducing traffic volume, and it is not only saving lives, but it's keeping the traffic down. Now, I don't know about that. I don't know about that claim. Yesterday, Lady Tamika said that her experience on the train was straight through. Not only that, but because you can take your train to the nearest location. So if you're going on the west side, you take a west side train. If you're going on the east side, you take an east side train. If you're going in the middle, then you get the train that's closest to that area, and you just walk a couple of blocks. Now, I, on the other hand, had a very different experience. I went downtown to 53rd and 8th Avenue, and it was a monster. It was a monster once we got to that 60th Street area getting across town. So I don't know about this less traffic. I guess those who, drive on a more regular basis can help to confirm or to dispel that piece of information. But needless to say, whether it's working, whether it's not, they claim it's not going anywhere. So we stuck with it. Well, the CDC is dropping the vaccinations for children from 17 vaccinations to 12. Now, the extra 5 that they are getting rid of, those vaccinations, parents have an opportunity to speak to their doctor about. So in other words, it's not mandated, but if you speak to your doctor and the doctor says, I think so, or they can go without it, then the child does not get that vaccination. Now, here's the problem. They feel that although there's a lax policy in the vaccination for children, that this is aiding the flu and all of the other diseases and illnesses. It's aiding that spread. So I don't know why they are, dropping it. But again, it's the CDC. So I guess they know what they're doing, right? Oh, we'll see. We'll see how this works out. Hopefully we won't see a surge in the other ones. I'd really like to know, like I said yesterday, what are the 5 that they are giving us options on? Wow, story of the week. Kind of similar to last week's wild story. A 22-year-old man has been sentenced to 12 years after injuring his 8-month-old son. He was playing NBA 2K, got upset because he picked the son up in a football fashion and threw him up against the wall. Now that child has suffered skull fractures, rib injuries, collarbone injuries. He faces eye injury and failure, as well as they have to put a feeding tube in, all because you could not handle losing a video game. And boy, did that stimulate some conversation over here yesterday. So I don't know where you were, but if you were not here with us, I think you want to go back and watch. You can watch on Facebook. You can watch on, let me just make sure I let you know. Facebook, Coach for Christian Life. You can watch right here on the Closer Walk Christian Media Network. Here on YouTube. If you can watch, but you can't listen, we got Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Audible.com, Amazon.com. Our biggest streaming comes from Apple iTunes and Apple Podcasts. Yes, we get from all platforms, but those are our 2 highest. So if you've got Apple, definitely want to jump on board, because it is very easy to pull up. It's Due Time with Pastor Steph, and you can get any episode that we have ever done in the history of A Closer Walk. So it ain't just yesterday. You can get anything. Okay. Well, that's how we spent our Wednesday. Well, today is Therapeutic Thursday, the day we talk about our health in any shape, form, or fashion, whether it's our mental health, physical health, spiritual health, emotional health, financial health, whatever. We talk about it, and in only Due Time crew mode. Okay, you're not going to get this anyplace else. Trust me when I tell you. All right, so come on and let's get this party started. Go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, everybody that it's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere, because we will be right back.
Seven strange signs your body needs magnesium, and you probably have number 5. Number 1, twitching muscles, random eye twitches, or leg cramps. That's your body literally saying, hey, I need magnesium. It helps your muscles chill out, and without it, they act up. Number 2, you keep getting headaches. Are you having migraines or tension headaches on repeat? Magnesium helps relax your blood vessels and calm your nerves. Low levels equals more headaches. Number 3, your heart feels weird. Ever feel like your heart is skipping beats or racing for no reason? Magnesium keeps your heartbeat steady. If it's low, things can get out of sync. Number 4, constant fatigue, feeling tired no matter how much you sleep. Magnesium plays a key role in energy production. When levels are low, your body struggles to keep up, leaving you drained. If you're loving this video so far, I'd love for you to comment, I love magnesium, so I can send you a special shout out in the next video. Number 5, you can't sleep. Tossing and turning all night, magnesium helps your brain relax. Without it, your mind stays on overdrive, making sleep impossible. Number 6, craving chocolate. Tell me the truth, are you randomly craving chocolate? Dark chocolate is high in magnesium, so your body might be hinting at what it needs. Listen to those cravings, they're not always random. And number 7, numbness or tingling, feeling pins and needles in your hands or feet. Magnesium supports nerve function.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Did you check out those signs that your body may be magnesium lacking? Well, eating that dark chocolate may not be a bad thing. So pay attention. If you need to, go back on the internet, check it out for yourself. These are things that are really, really, really interesting to find out. Listen, I'm looking dark in my camera, so I might be looking dark to you. So I don't know. We got some technical difficulties today, but guess what? Ain't nothing going on with my mic. Okay? So just bear with us as we, trying to get all of this stuff going on. You know how it goes. If you're in the room, make sure you check in. Okay, I don't know if you're in the room unless you say good morning. Okay, so let's say good morning to our King Terrence. Good morning, my King. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We got to check in from our girl, Ketty. Hey, Ketty girl. We got to check in from our boy, Serge. What's going on, Serge? Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We got to check in from our girl, Vivian. Hey, Vivian. And we got to check it from our girl, Teresa. Yesterday was Teresa's birthday, and Teresa didn't check in. So I didn't say good morning because I was looking here, and that's why you need to check in, Teresa. Good morning and happy belated birthday to you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Travel safely to your destination, and we give God thanks for another year of your life. If Miss Grace is in the room, we like to say good morning. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we hope you're doing well. All right. Well, we must say good morning to, Terrence is saying happy belated birthday to Teresa. Nice. Very nice. Oh, Terrence shows us so much love. Well, we must say good morning to the ladies that make sure we are held down each and every morning. Let's say good morning to our girl Shantice. Good morning. Hopefully we'll be seeing her in a little bit. Let's say good morning to our girl Anika. Hey, Anika. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome, Teresa. So, you know what goes on a Thursday morning here. We got our health tip, and thank you to one of our loyal viewers. We have this health tip. We've got some fruit that serve as natural healing foods. God made this food for a purpose, not just for us to kind of ingest and get fat and full, but a lot of food have natural healing properties. So we want to make sure we give those to you this morning. Blueberries, the antioxidant powerhouse, they're calling it. All right. Blueberries are definitely a rich fruit. Antioxidants are one of the main sources of, blueberries is one of the main sources for antioxidants. Let me just say it like that. And it is a great fruit because you can do so much with a blueberry. You can put them in your smoothies, you can put them in your oatmeal, or you can do so much with them. and they did a clinical trial, and they found that older adults who regularly ate blueberries saw measurable improvements in memory retention and cognitive speed. Then I need to be eating this because I definitely want to boost my cognitive speed and my memory retention. Avocado, another powerhouse. We're talking about fruit particularly, that have a powerhouse healing property in it, or properties. They say that avocado is definitely great for your heart. And they said that individuals who ate avocados at least twice a week reduced their risk of cardiovascular disease by 22%. They say the study also followed 60,000 participants, and they found that avocados contribute to lower LDL cholesterol and improved good cholesterol. All right. So you have avocados, that's a source of potassium, and that helps your blood pressure and prevents high blood pressure. All righty. They also provide fiber, vitamin E, and support vascular health. All right. That's your veins. Okay. So get them avocados. They say you can swap avocados for butter and mayonnaise. Yeah, it has that smoothie texture. Pomegranates. Now, we did our study on pomegranate juice, and woo-wee, it's expensive, but I tell you, if we put away those chips and dip and all the stuff that we eat on a regular basis, and we just trade it for avocado juice, man, oh man, oh man. Yes. What did I say? Avocado juice? Pomegranate juice, excuse me. So, pomegranates are great for helping to fight against certain types of cancer. They say pomegranate extract will inhibit the growth of prostate cancer as they interfere with those cells that grow. They say the little red seeds are packed with polyphenols, antioxidants, and it will definitely help to reduce the inflammation in your body. They say throughout your body. As a matter of fact, they say that beyond the cancer component, that pomegranate is rich in vitamin C. It helps strengthen your immune system, and you definitely want to get some pomegranates in your system. Okay. And you can actually make your own pomegranate juice. If you find pomegranates on sale, it is so easy. All you have to do is blend them. I say either put them in a small blender or food processor. Add a little bit of water, pour it out and strain it. But you got to, use quite a bit of the pomegranate seeds because it's not going to make a whole lot. But listen, it's natural. And don't add anything to it. Just drink it. Okay. Apples. They say apples are the gut health booster. So we have apples that are great for dietary fiber. And you want to make sure you get those apples in your system, as it helps to boost your digestion and immunity. They say that it helps to mark lower inflammation markers. Yeah. And if you want to manage your weight loss, you definitely want to eat some apples because it helps with the satiety, meaning it helps you stay full a little longer. And don't take the skin off the apple. That is one of the healthiest things that we can eat. When I was a kid, I used to take the peeling off, and my Uncle Jimmy used to say, don't do that. But I was a kid. What did I know? And now I've learned better. Okay. Oranges. the immune system defender. Yes, yes, yes. Oranges, as we all know, vitamin C definitely helps with our immune boosting. And they say that fruit like oranges, if we eat them at least 3 times a week, we lower by 30% respiratory infections, including the common cold and guess what? The flu. All right. I'm sure with this strain of flu, you're going to have to eat a whole lot of oranges. But listen, if it lowers by 30%, then that's part of your battle right there. Okay. Definitely get that orange in your system and you'll be a whole lot better physically. Okay. Bananas, the mood enhancer. Yeah. Love a good bananas, and I keep bananas in this house because it's a whole bunch of monkeys living in this house. All they eat are bananas, bananas, bananas. Yeah. Bananas, they don't last here at all. Bananas are like water in my house. It goes like crazy. So I'm anticipating that there should be a whole lot of mood shifting in this house. All right. They say that it plays a surprising role, those bananas, in your emotional wellness. They say the natural sugars and fiber provide sustained energy without that crash of processed snacks as well. So not just your mood, but your body handles your sugar levels and you're crashing better. And make sure you get that banana in your system. It helps to also stabilize your blood pressure. All right. And it's great for fiber. So you've got like a whole lot of different things, including your mood. Cherries, the anti-inflammatory fruit. Well, that's going along with our berries, right? So they say, especially tart cherries. Now, you know you ain't going to find no tart cherries. We're looking for the sweet ones. But they say the tart ones are really, really good for anti-inflammatory properties. They say that it reduced by 25% muscle soreness as well. Wow. Okay. Well, listen, when you lower the inflammation in your body, a lot of your joint pains go away. So, you want to definitely get that. Not only that, they say tart cherries add to your sleep quality. Woo. If you're having problems going to sleep, go get yourself some tart cherries. Well, if you buy your cherries during any other time of the year other than the summertime, they'll be tart. So eat away and eat away. Grapes, the heart health guardian, they're calling it. They say especially red and purple grapes. All right. They are significant in protecting your heart. They say a 2024 study showed that those who consumed grapes daily saw significant improvements in blood pressure. And you definitely want to get that in your system because it will also help reduce inflammation because they are filled with antioxidants as well. They say grapes help to lower your calories if you eat, remember those of us who are diabetic, they don't want us to eat any more than like 15 grapes at a time. So we can't push ourselves in the other direction. Okay. But also they say that they're kind of better than dried raisins because once it, ferments, it gets sweeter. So, you eat raisins. Raisins are very, very healthy, but let's, do what works best. Kiwi, the digestive aid, they're calling them. All right. They say that they're high in vitamin C, vitamin K, and dietary content, fiber. They say that it reduces the inflammation in your gut, and it helps to boost your immune health. They say make sure you get as many kiwi in your system as you can, because it will definitely help with your digestive troubles. Pineapples, my favorite. Oh my goodness. Anti-inflammatory superfruit. So why am I like, I eat a lot of this stuff here. Well, they say that pineapples are definitely great for benefits. They are great for anti-inflammatory punch, and it will help to lower your pain. They say it's great for sports injuries and surgery recovery. Yeah. They say that vitamin C will help the immune function and skin repair. Pineapples, who would have known? Who would have known? And you could put pineapples in almost anything. What did I look at yesterday? They had like pineapple chicken. I was like, I don't want that. I love pineapples, but no thank you. All right, so there you go. Fruit helps to heal you, which is why they tell you to make sure you keep that fruit in your system on a regular basis. Okay, we got a couple of comments in here. Tara says, New Year, we're going to see the workers in the background. Oh, yes. So Anika has got to come in the camera. So we're going to make sure we make that happen just for you, Terrence. And Terrence says, bananas is my favorite. Okay, well then you can definitely join people in this house. All right, let's see what the news is talking about. We got some interesting news this morning. And I don't know, it's like people are just, things are weird. And again, I'm trying to find news that's other than this just killing spree and nonsense. But every once in a while, once you go 3 articles killing, 4 articles killing, 2 articles killing. So you can't get around it. So I will always bring you some kind of crazy story regarding someone getting killed. And let's start with the non-killing news. So let's talk about Little Caesars this morning. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but here in New York, a lot of the Little Caesars are run by people that are like Pakistani and like that. I don't know. I don't see many others. Not that I care. As long as you're clean, I don't care. But the reason why I bring that up is because of this particular article. And they have 3 minority workers, 1 Hispanic, 2 blacks. And out in Mount Vernon, Washington, they have really been suffering at the hands of some white employees who have become extremely disrespectful. Now, the Target Market Enterprise company owns 9 Little Caesars stores in that part of Washington. And they are clearly not doing a good job with their hiring practices. So you have this Bethany Espinoza and 2 other black crew employees. They have been working at this Mount Vernon Little Caesars, and they say they have been experiencing just this high level of hostile work environment. They say that this has been going on for a while now, because since 2024, they have been making their lives literally hell. Literal hell, rather. They say that after she was hired, this Espinoza, she says after she was hired, she was given the task of making and preparing the pizza dough and cleaning up the restaurant. Now, when another worker left, then she would step up as shift lead. Now, one of the shift lead, so they have they're naming them JG and AG. These are the 2 managers of the office. So they have been been so offensive to Espinosa and the other two Black employees. And again, they are two white employees who are managers. They've been using the N-word. They call them slaves, blackie, darkie, and monkey. Just a few of the, names that they have been calling them. Now, they say that they were already aware, this one of these, managers was already aware that someone had complained about the other manager using the N-word, and they were never disciplined. And not only did they use the slur on a regular basis, but it was loud enough for the customers to hear a few times right in the middle of the restaurant. So this has gotten so bad that it's not even being done in like the privacy, when it's closed or, away from the customers. So they say that one of the workers told one of the managers, which is like a little slightly higher than, the other manager, told that one that they had, gotten tired of being spoken to like this. And she complained, and they said it didn't matter. She went to a higher up above these two, and they got so tired of her complaining that they told her she would just have to learn how to deal with it. Wow. Now, here's the thing. The one that they told would just have to deal with it was another employee. So this is not the Hispanic and the two Black employees. A white employee, a fellow co-worker, went and told the higher ups, hey, listen, this is out of control. I don't think it's fair. And that's when they said, listen, you're just going to have to deal with it. Wow. So you don't care whose world you make miserable or who you allow to be miserable. Well, eventually somebody went to one of the three abused, went to someone outside of that level, and they fired one of the two, but left the other one there to continue the racial slurs and treatment. They say it got so bad that they would make them wash dishes all day. That's all they did, was just be the human dishwasher. Well, finally, they went to someone higher, and then one of the Black employees wrote a little note that said, hey, so-and-so hates Black people. So now they got rid of one of the racial slurs person, and they left the other one. They got tired of him, so they wrote a little post-it note and said, so-and-so hates Black people, and left it in the back where only the employees could see it, and they fired the Black employee. Now, in the interim of all of this melee, they actually gave one of the two white managers who were being abusive, they promoted them. So the other one who complains gets fired. So now they're in this war out in Mount Vernon, Washington, as to who is going to deal with this, how they're going to deal with this. Oh boy. So we got a check-in from someone here, and they're going by the name of Ark. God, we pray for justice and truth. And we hope that justice and truth prevails here, because you promote the one who's creating all the havoc, and you are firing the one who is responding. Now, I got to be honest with you. I know jobs are hard to find, but ain't no way in the world I am sitting under this nonsense. No, I'm not going to beg you to treat me right. I'm not going to beg you not only to treat me right, but to be respectful. You don't have to like my color. You don't have to like my race, but you do have to respect me if we're going to work together. And for me to go to managers and higher ups and people outside the building, and you still behaving this way? Nah, y'all all right. Well, I don't need this job. I don't need this. So maybe you stick it around for some other reason. But like I said, I have walked off jobs, and it wasn't even for that, but it was for a level of abuse that I was not going to tolerate. No, that ain't happening. So I don't know why people stick around. Maybe some of the Due Time crew will help to explain why people are sticking around through all of this nonsense. But I'm sorry, that's something that I'm not enduring. That's not happening. That's not happening. There's a whole lot of other jobs out here. All right. Now, we've got this other story. We're going to get to the killing now. We got this other story, which is so sad. There's a mom who is now in jail because her daughter, 17 years old, came in the middle of the night. She thought the daughter was an intruder, and she shot the daughter. Yeah. I'm with you, Terrence. I didn't want to say it, but I'm coming back. Yeah. That's why I kind of termed it like that. Why you sticking around? Yeah, I'm sorry. No. So here's what happened. This is out in Indiana. You know, when your parents tell you to do stuff and not do stuff, stick to the rules. What happened was mom put her kids to bed, or thought she had, and this Tiana Harris, 17 years old, left the house and mom didn't know it. And about 5 o'clock in the morning, she was coming in. Mom took it for an intruder and shot her. Now, I don't know if, she was supposed to yell, "Hey, who's in my house? I got a gun," but she heard somebody coming in. She thought it was an intruder, and she actually shot her daughter, and the daughter died. Now, here's the thing. They are not charging mom ultimately, but they did arrest her. They are holding her, but they are not charging her with the murder. But I don't know about the gun, because there's a reason why they are holding her. But, even one of the cops said, I got 3 kids of my own. I would hate for this to be me. This is something where mom honestly thought that this was somebody coming in who did not belong in the house. So when you were sneaking out, you had no idea that coming back in would end your life. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, we have another story here of a woman, another domestic issue. We have this woman out in Georgia who calls her 911. She calls 911. So here's what supposedly happened. So, oh my goodness gracious. So she shoots her husband. This Aisha Harmon, 45 years old, she shoots her husband, and she tells them that she was gathering up some clothes, taking them down off of a shelf. She ended up mishandling the gun by mistake and shot the husband, and he died. Well, after they kept pressing her, the story started shifting. Her 44-year-old husband, Shedrick Harmon, come to find out that when they kept asking her and her story kept changing, they actually started investigating and speaking to family, friends, and neighbors. And they said that she's been known to threaten him with that very gun, that she has been known to argue with him. They said that they did have some domestic problems. They did have some violence, drug, and alcohol use between the two of them. Also, some infidelity in that relationship. So they are not buying. And guess what? She has now been sentenced to how much time? Wait, I want to tell you how much time she's been sentenced to. 30 years. 30 years in prison. The charges were voluntary manslaughter, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. So that must be her. Well, she's got 45 years behind her, and she's got 30 years ahead of her. So by the time she comes out, she'll be 75. Let's see if she handles a gun at that point. Yeah, she claimed that the clothes were unfolded and the gun got all mangled and twisted. And after a while, she ended up just pleading guilty because they were like, we know. The jig is officially up. Cut it out. Oh my goodness gracious. Here's one of my favorite stories of today. And I don't know, y'all may want to think about something that I talked about earlier this week. So you have this woman who was having a holiday party, and she invited a whole bunch of friends, and one of the friends sent her a text or notified her and said, listen, thank you so much for the invitation. I'll gladly be there, but this time I'm not going to be drinking. Would you mind, in your search for beverages, finding me a non-alcoholic beer? Well, this enraged the event planner. Yeah, she says that I really wish that they would not come because we are going to be blasted. I'm just looking at the fact that we're going to be drinking and we're going to be playing games, and I don't want one sober person sitting there watching me. If they are just going to sit there and remember everything. Can you imagine this? Was something else she said. She said, I really wish they would not come because with the good amount of drinking that's going to be done, we're going to be playing a few silly party games, playing music, and just letting our hair down. And he's going to be, as Brother Al would say, a Debbie Downer. And all he's going to be doing is sitting there watching us sober, looking at us, remembering everything. Lord have mercy. Where is my due time crew when I need them? Come on, where's my girl Tamika? Good morning, and good morning.
Good morning. Happy Thursday to you. How are you?
Yes, thank you. Same to you. So let me start asking. What's your favorite fruit out of the ones that was mentioned?
Well, my favorite fruit of all times are grapes. However, my favorite are the green ones. I do eat the other ones.
Okay.
But they got to be piled together.
Okay.
It's kind of funny because I have a treat this morning that I've already eaten. It's dark chocolate, blueberries, plain yogurt, and lemon zest. And it is, when I tell you, it is delicious. And I have to pace myself. Like I can eat all of them in one setting. But
okay. Now what's the combination again? So our due time listeners.
Okay, so it's
you catch it.
Blueberries. Plain yogurt. And then what you do is you get a little lemon zest and you mix all of that up, put it in the freezer, let it harden, and then take it back out, melt some dark chocolate, and then put the dark chocolate on top of the clusters, put it back in the freezer, and then the first thing in the morning, you can snack on them. Delicious.
Sounds good. I'm going to try that. Thank you for that recipe. All righty. Well, I want to read some of these comments. Terrence says, yep, they're looking to sue. That's why they hung around in Little Caesars. Sir says, wow. Kenny says, I wouldn't stay at a job who treats me bad. I worked for chock full of nuts, and I quit because they thought I was a maid. Wow. Terrence says, yeah, she needs to just go to jail and think the rest of her life in there. We got a chicken from our girl, Akusa. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got Terrence who says, so she planned on doing something while that night, so she didn't want no one to remember. That's Diddy's cousin. You so stupid, Terrence. And we got a check-in from Miss Herlima. Good morning, Miss Herlima. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. All righty. So we got these minorities, these 3 minority workers at Little Caesars who have been really, really victimized and disrespected and dealing with all the kinds of levels of disrespect and discrimination. And my question is, why are you staying? I'm not going to endure all of this. And then when you write the note and you leave it in the back, they fire you, but yet they promoted the one who was doing all of the slandering. I mean, am I making sense here?
You're making total sense. I'm trying to figure out on what planet there is that there's only one job. I mean, is this one of the states where it's so tiny that there's not another job that you can work for? Or if you can't work for that Little Caesar, you didn't think about trying to go to another location? Is that the only Little Caesars in your town? Like, I don't understand what it is that do you think that you deserve that type of treatment? I wish I would be in there, doing my thing. Hey, Blackie, come in. Excuse me. What did you just call me? And I would lose my mind. I'm trying the best thing for me to do is leave this place, because what I'm not going to do is take it more than one time. You got one time to call me the wrong thing and I'm out of there. I remember having a job in the past. I had to leave because the boss, we're not even talking about somebody like my boss. When I tell you, she cursed so much and so bad, every particular curse. And I was like, the first time I heard it, it was my first day. And she went on a barrage. Wow. Okay, well, maybe she's having a moment. Let me let her breathe. Let me breathe. The following day was right back the same. I was like, oh, this is my first day. This is my second day. This is my last day. I will not be, you don't have to get anybody's treatment if you don't want to.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's say good morning to our girl, Shantice. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, ladies?
Morning.
All right. Thanks. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good. So we've got the N-word. We've got slaves. We've got Blackie, Darkie, Monkey. Just a few. And my question is, why are you there? Terrence says they're sticking around in order to sue. And I'm trying to figure out, well, like Tamika said, well, we ain't got no other jobs nowhere near. I'd rather be unemployed than to endure this nonsense. What say you with this treatment and these words?
I would end up unemployed by the time. I've literally cussed managers out for less because I felt like they were wasting my time with that whole on call, going back and forth, and had me wasting money because you claim you need me, but then when I get up there, you don't need me because you gave one of your favorites a shift and all of that. They didn't call me no names from what I heard. I'm sure they did, but from what I heard. But I'm here going to work, and you are calling me that. It wouldn't be nowhere to promote, because that location would have got shut down. Can't nobody get promoted here. Can't nobody get fired from here. Can't nobody come here and eat. Can't nobody come here and do nothing. Because by the time I got finished turning that place out, and then once I found out I got fired, when they got promoted, oh no. Oh no. No, you claim you sticking around to sue, and that could possibly be the mentality. Then what? You're not sticking around to sue because then you wouldn't be leaving little notes stating this is what they're doing. Because you would just be on the hush hush, and then the next thing you know, you just be owning the franchise. You be owning that location. But that no, you don't stick around because you know what? That's why they keep feeling compelled to call you that, because they figure this is your bread and butter. You ain't got nowhere else to go. Because who in their right mind is going to stick around here and take any type of verbal abuse, let alone that particular type of verbal abuse? If you really have somewhere to go, or if you really you're not sticking around for that. And I keep telling people, at a Little Caesars, this ain't no Fortune 500. This ain't no this at a pizza shop. Come on, y'all. This is why we don't rise as a people. We are willing to suffer for pizza. How much money you making? You're not making nothing. Right. No, come on. We got to treat ourselves better than this.
All righty. Hey, Brother Al, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Top of the morning.
Good morning, Brother Al.
Morning.
Shanti says, for pizza, give me a break. Why am I enduring this treatment? Monkey, darky, slaves, blackie, N-word. They can't go find another job. Why are you hanging around?
So you mean to tell me you can't go and work for Domino's? You can't leave and go to Domino's. You want to play rough? I'm going to the competition. I'm going to the competition. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to Papa John's. You want to play rough? But yeah, you know that's crazy. You know, I would file with the EEOC. You know, this is probably a person probably like they never had a job, or you know, like you said, I don't understand why you stand, because I'd be to turn that place upside down. You know, but you know, doing it on the right way, go to EEOC, make a complaint and this and that, and then make your move and leave. Okay.
I agree.
Right to Domino's. I'm playing. Go to Domino's. Look, I'm experiencing.
I agree. Oh my goodness! Wow. All right, we almost had Pastor KL, but we're gonna move on to the next story. So you got this girl, 17 years old. Mom has locked down the house. She says that I put everybody to bed. My home is, you know, exactly who's supposed to be in there. And at 5 a.m., there's an intruder. She gets her gun, she pulls it out, she shoots the intruder, only to find out that it's actually her daughter.
Wow.
Oh, Brother Al, what we talking about here?
Man, that's oh man. I mean, you know, it should have happened. It was, you know, okay, you should know that. Okay, my daughter's not home. It's 5 a.m.
Are you listening to the story, Brother Al?
What'd you say?
Are you listening to the story?
Take it easy.
She snuck this ain't no Domino's, Papa John's, and no Little Caesars.
Right.
She snuck out the house. Yeah.
Oh,
Mom thought everybody was in the bed. She locked up her house. At 5 o'clock in the morning, she hears someone coming in. She gets a gun because it's an intruder, and she fires her gun only to find out that it's her daughter who has snuck out and who is sneaking back in. And now she kills her daughter, thinking that the daughter was someone who was not supposed to be in the house.
Wow. So I guess she took the shoot first, ask question later. You know,
yeah.
You know, she should have, you know, took a look first. You know, I mean, the daughter had no business sneaking out, definitely, but wow, she should have took a look first before she, you know, she fired off. She just, you know, it could have been one of the kids getting up, going to the bathroom, and then you just, oh, I hear noise, and you shooting. That's
Okay.
wow. That's tragic.
Well, she heard the person coming through the front door, which is very, very different than the bathroom. But yeah, she heard someone coming in the house, and
right. No, I get it. Yeah,
she opted not to ask questions.
Right. Yeah, I get it. You know, you like you said, the house is locked down. Everybody good, and all the kids in bed. All right, good. And you hear somebody at the front door. You like, oh, somebody coming up in here, man. I still think, you know, she should took the peek first before she shot. You know.
All righty. Okay, we're good with that. Lady Tamika, should she have asked first, or if you think someone's coming through your house, you know, into your house through the window, through the door, it's like shoot first, ask questions later.
Of course, we always want to ask first, but you know, you think about this thing. Okay, so I got, let's just say 3 children. I checked room number 1, that baby is fine, sleep. Number 2, you in the bed. Okay, lights are out. You check in the house and you hear something at the door. You know, okay, you know, you should have checked the window. You know, something. You know, maybe she didn't have a window nearby, like our front door. I can't see. You know, I literally have to go upstairs and look over. And the way that our house is set up, there's no way to really see if you're at my front door. You know, I'm wondering if maybe that's the circumstance that she couldn't see. But still, again, you shot first. You know, you didn't let them. Hey, I got a gun. You know, at that point, your daughter could have said, "Ma, it's me." You know, you really didn't want to. You know, after sneaking out, but you could have said something. You know, and of course, I'm sure at this time the child didn't know that was, you know, going to be the circumstance. She probably would have said something. You know, also this shot, you know, your mom. You know, you didn't think. You know, that's the sad thing about it. A lot of times we don't think it can happen to me. You know, and unfortunately now she's dead because she decided to do something that she wasn't supposed to do. You know, I'm sorry that happened.
Wow. All right, let's pull in Pastor KL, see what he's got to say about this. Good morning, Pastor KL.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you guys doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So we have the case of the mom locking her house down for the night. She has someone at 5 o'clock in the morning coming through the door. Her kids are in the house, in the bed, and she thinks it's an intruder coming through the door, and she fires her gun, kills the individual, only to find out that it's a 17-year-old daughter sneaking back in the house at 5 a.m. Now, some say that, hey, she should have asked and made herself known, or instead she shot first, asked questions later. Which one do you feel should have happened?
I'm kind of torn with that, but I think if I hear somebody coming in my door, I think I'm going to warn you, hey, you're at the wrong house, you're about to get shot. And then that gives the individual, the daughter, mom is me. You know, I don't think I would have just shot. I'd have warned you to let you know what's behind this door. You really don't want to be behind door number 1. Go to door number 2. Door number 1 is not going to be a good prize. And then it would have given the daughter the opportunity to say, hey, mom, it's me.
Okay.
And then I'd have shot her.
Okay.
Then I'd have shot her for sneaking out.
Okay. Terry says we never know if the mom did say that she had a gun, and she said, you know, but reminding us that she's sneaking back in, so she may not have said, "Mom, it's me," and she was trying to go back to the room. You know, she may have been sneaking even further. He says also, by looking at the lady's picture, she's been through a lot in her life, a lot of rough times, and maybe the daughter didn't think the mom would, I guess, do that. The mom would shoot, he says. So Tamika is looking at the picture saying the very opposite, like, you know your mama. Your mama looking like this. She's that shoot first, ask questions later type of individual. Shantice, should she have made herself known in regards to, hey, I'm about to shoot, or listen, you on your own, you coming through my door, this is on you, not me?
I think there's a lot of different factors that we don't know that could have possibly played the role. We don't know this neighborhood that they live in. We don't know. Again, you're thinking you know your kids are sound asleep, so now you hear somebody else coming through the door. You know, I always think about my house. If after a certain time, and if we assume everybody's in here, we may forget that there might be one other person, or we figure everyone in here and we didn't know. Now everybody in here grown, but we didn't know that somebody else had left. So they're not necessarily sneaking out, they're not sneaking in. But we thinking, okay, it's 3. I saw everybody come in, but I didn't see when so-and-so left. And now we hear something at the door. It becomes a hostile situation very quick up in there. Immediately, we're like, whoa, who's that? Because it's like, we don't saw everybody come in. We ain't see when Major left real quick. You know, talk about when she just stepped outside, you know, to make a phone call or whatever. So now we come out, we ain't got no guns. Now I can't say. They're at 3, 4, 5. I'm thinking everybody up in here. And this is why it's important to learn how to cock this gun back. Because see, by the time you would have heard the clink, that would have been your warning right there. I don't feel compelled that I have to now give a verbal warning. When I don't put all my kids to sleep.
Oh my goodness.
I put all my children to sleep.
Oh my goodness.
So once you hear the cock back, that's the warning right there. Now, if you continue, if I still hear the footsteps further coming in the door, now you're entering further into your own risk, okay? You were supposed to be in the house.
Oh my goodness.
And see, and this just shows me that you ain't know what you was doing sneaking out nor in, because you didn't know the time. You didn't really know your mama. Because see, by the time you sneak back in, I need to make sure she's asleep. Okay, she normally go around this time. Sometimes she get to go to the bathroom at about 3. Okay, if she's slow, I keep telling people, when I have to sneak back up in the house, the first thing I would do is call my sisters, like, what is the magnitude of the snoring? Did she skip 2 snores and she ain't really sleep? Call me back with the snores from 6 snores. Okay?
Oh my goodness.
This is what I had to do, because you can't call yourself sneaking in and out, but you don't know the dynamics of the person who's supposed to be asleep. No. So unfortunately, she left and entered back as if it was 3 in the afternoon. And the mama, again, unfortunately, we don't know what, this neighborhood is up against. We don't know any of that. So unfortunately, mama just shot first and figured she was going to find out later. And when she found out it was her own child, that's really sad.
Yeah. All right. Terrence says, also, if she's 17, what the hell is she doing coming in at 5 in the morning? It finally clicked. All right. So as you all been talking, I've been trying to put myself in this mindset. So the way one of my couches is situated, we have, when you come in the house, you have a wall that's there, and you have the couch, and where I primarily sit is where the wall is covering, so I don't see when someone walks in. Now I have mastered who's coming up and down the steps. I can tell who's coming up and down the steps. I can tell when they, like, certain keys jingle. I've got that kind of down pat. So there was one night, and I also, my daughter, who doesn't live here, still has keys. So there are times when she will pop up and I hear a key. I'm like, that sounds like Shawnee's key. Okay, what's she doing here? And it'll be her. And one night it was kind of late, and I thought everybody was in the house. So, last person come in, we locking up. And I heard, we have a screen door, so I heard all this outside the door, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So then, you hear all this finagling outside the door, and when the door came open, it was this key jingling, and I'm like, that better be who I think it is. That sounds like so-and-so. And sure enough, it was so-and-so. But, you know, I'm going to be honest. First of all, I don't have a gun. So I could pose no threat on the other side. You actually coming in to kill me because I can't get up and run. I don't move that fast. There was nowhere for me to run. So I don't, you know, as a person who thinks it's an intruder, my mindset is different. I'm not a person who would shoot first and ask questions later. Because like I said, I didn't even say anything. I was just listening. I'm like, okay, who does that even sound like that could be? Because and I'm doing this mental check in my head. I'm like, so-and-so's in that room, so-and-so's in that room. Okay, that add the 1, minus the 3, multiply 5. I'm doing all of this math in my head. But by this time, they literally in the door. So I can't say personally she should have spoken up, because if my house is locked down, my house is locked down. However, again, that's not me, number one. And number two, I don't know. When you feel your life is in danger, you know, first of all, I'm not a person who's going to get no gun. I don't own a gun for a reason. You know, so there are people who own guns just in case. There are people who own guns. I wish somebody would. You know, there's a whole lot of mental stuff going on when you decide to own a gun. So like Shanti said, do we know the climate of where she lives? Have there been break-ins recently? Have people been coming through your door, through your window? I don't know. All I know is, here's where I go. You 17, I thought I locked you in the house. You ain't got no business coming up in here at no 5 o'clock. Now, your lesson had to be, you ain't never gonna get another lesson again.
Right.
That's where my head goes. My head does not honestly go to, you know, should she have shot her? My head goes, why did you even cause this problem? So now I got to deal with knowing that I killed my child, where I would have never done something like that. But because I thought you were already in here, do I have a chance to survey all the rooms? Like I said, all my rooms are on another level. So I can't go up the steps and go, okay, Shantice in room A, Shawnice in room B, Tamasia in room C. I can't do all that. Because by the time I get up, they already in the house. So I don't move that fast. So I can't run for my safety. I can't run to warn nobody. I can't do none of that. So could she have surveyed the rooms to check for her kids? I don't know. Would she have to pass the main door in order to get that done? So like Shanti said, there's a lot of factors here. It would be nice if she would say, all right, you got one warning. That's all you're going to get. But again, I don't know her. I don't know her mentality. I don't know if she done been through this thing before. I don't know. But I do know one thing. Your behind should have been in that house. Your behind should have been in that bed. And now I have to live with the rest of my life knowing that I shot you because you were disobedient. Well, I guess everybody else learned the lesson. They won't try that. Don't try this at home. Everybody else learned that lesson. But she, unfortunately, didn't get to learn that lesson. She ended up getting her life taken from her, which is really sad.
But Pastor Steph, I'm just realizing you said 5 a.m. This must have been her first time. So you coming in the house around the time it's time for everybody to start getting up and getting ready for school. Of course, your mother is not thinking it's anybody who belongs in there, because this is about the time everybody needs to be getting up almost to start heading out of the house if it's during the week. So, I mean, the expectation of, did she announce, did she say who? I mean, that's a little, if again, it's almost time for me to start getting my kids up and getting us up out of the house to get the day started. That's crazy.
And also too, what people don't understand, because you know, you got people say, I would have did this, I would have did that. When fear kicks in, it's a
right.
It's a different story when fear kicks in. You think about all that stuff later on, but when fear kicks in, it's a different story.
Yep. Because I'm telling you, that's what I was sitting on the couch saying that night, Brother Al. I was like, Lord, I'm hoping that whoever's on the outside of the door, they're supposed to be in here. Because I can't pose a threat. I can't run. I can't holler. I can't tell nobody, lock your doors. Like you said, all of these things kind of enter your mind. And like I said, if she got a gun, we don't know why she decided to have that gun. And if she's the type of person who's quick on the draw, got a bad temper, got a short temper, woo, you just add it. And,
She might have even had a relationship with a man in the past, and she's like, "Oh, I done told you to get out. You had a key, and you tried. Yeah, okay. Yep. You're gonna learn today."
Yep.
Hey, Pastor, what you got to do now? What you got to do now is send your daughter that video. Send her this clip. I just want to let you know you welcome in the house, but you better call before you come.
You better announce yourself. I don't care if you got a key or not. You better let me know. It wasn't her that night. It was another, person who was just happened to be out later. And I was like, make some, I was like, listen, you need to make some noise. Say something. Hey, because y'all know I'm always sitting right here. And it could be like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting here. I'm here, right here. So you better say, or text me or something. I'm about to walk through the door or something. Because, where we live, in the block, you got enough time to let me know you're gonna be there in another 2 minutes. So this is a lot. And you know what? I go back to saying another thing. Tamika, you hit the nail on the head when you said she know her mother. You know your mother. You know your mother's a shoot first, ask questions later. Because I tell you, ask Shantice who I was. She could tell you who I was, and I didn't have a gun. So, you know your parent. You know, Tamika, you knew your mom. You know, Brother Al, you knew your parent. I knew my mama. So you kind of know who you dealing with and what you working with. So she probably scared out of her life and stayed. Let me tell you something. You just stayed about with a boy at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
That ain't no girlfriend. 5? Yeah. Nah, break of dawn. Nah, that ain't no girl. You just stayed out with some boy. And when your mama got there, you were too afraid to say anything. You were probably more afraid to say something than the intruder.
Yeah.
I ain't no professional sneaker, but anybody with common sense know you don't come in at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's what I'm saying. This was her first time.
12:45, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
The time is time to get. It's almost time to get up to get the day started. Who does? And see, when you on this side of the fence, has she shot the daughter and the daughter lives, she still would have got a beating because now you hurt. Now you hurt because you ain't have no business coming up in here. Now I didn't hurt you, even if the mother didn't get in trouble. There could have been no charges or anything because once the cops would have came, and especially if you got level-headed cops, they probably looked at their daughter like, "Well, you brought this on yourself." So there would have been no charges or anything. You still would have got your behind beat. Whatever cash you would have had on, whatever leg would have had to be amputated, you still would have got it. So either way, you was gonna get it because you caused this. You had no, and then you would have got beat again because you wasn't smart. Because see, by the time a black mama analyzes all the steps, you get beat for every step you made incorrect.
I may have told this story before. Where's Pastor Kale? He's not okay. You want to hang out with us, Pastor Kale? We lost you for a little bit. Welcome back. Is there anything you want to say to add to this conversation before we kind of shift gear?
No, she would have died either way. You would have died for trying to come back in and me not knowing who you are. And you would have died for trying to come back in and me not knowing that you left. Either way, you would have died.
Absolutely. We're going to deal with it.
I'm just trying to save myself from going to jail right now. Anything I say may be used against me.
All right. Tevin says the girl knew the mom had a gun. She had to know, but she just didn't think the mom would shoot her. But knowing she just got fired from from Little Caesars, anything can happen. Terrence is stuck on this. Mom got fired from Little Caesars. All right, I may have told this story, but going along with this story of you know your people, you know your parents. I had been away to college, came back, and I said, I'll be right back. And it was maybe around 8:00. And I asked, it was kind of chilly, so I asked my mother. She worked outside, so I asked my mother, could I wear her sweatshirt that she wore for work? And my mother was very meticulous about her uniform. So I went out the house, 8:00, came back, and when we lived at the end of the hall. So when I got off the elevator and I turned to go in, I was like, I don't know, for some reason, I just unexpectedly sensed something was wrong. And I was like, okay. So I get to the door. Now I was confident all this time because I hadn't done nothing wrong. I hadn't done anything wrong in my head. So I get to the door, and I really kind of freeze. So I slide my key gently in the door, and you can hear every key of the key. And all of a sudden, the door just flung open from the opposite side. And my father was on the other end of that door. And he just boom, 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 bouncing me from wall to wall. You said you were going to be right back. I thought you said you were going to be right back. Boom, boom, boom. You said you were going to be right back. And I couldn't even catch my breath because as soon as I got ready, I didn't even finish taking my key out the door before he snatched the door open and caught me and had that sweatshirt. He was bouncing me. Boom, 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 boom. My mother comes from the back of the apartment. And she said, So I'm like, everybody freezes because he scared. She scares him. She scares me because she comes out of nowhere. So we were both of us huffing and puffing. But she said, take my blankety blank sweatshirt off, then whip her $8 $.
My grandmother was a gangster.
You don't care that he's bouncing me around from wall to wall. All you care about is this sweatshirt. Can I tell you something? She came, she took the sweatshirt off of me, and he commenced to whipping my behind. They didn't play, but for some reason, when I'm going back to the fact that you know who you dealing with. Now, I didn't think I was going to get that, but for some reason, as confident as I was that it was only 2 hours because I got back at 10. I've gone out to college. I should be able to come back and go out from 8 to 10. But it was, you said you were going to be right back. And to him, right back is not 2 hours later. Ever since then, I have learned to keep my word. If I say I'm going to do something, whatever I say I'm going to do, I'm going to do. That was my lesson in you better be very precise with what you say. I knew how I was dealing with, and I knew something wasn't right on the other side of that door, but Lord knows I didn't think it was going to be that. And two of them teamed up against me. He worried about her sweatshirt. He worried about the 2 hours I took to come back. So, there's rules, and you know the rules. And I didn't know I broke the rule, but I knew somebody wasn't going to be too happy for some reason. And with the air was just real thick. So, listen, she knew her mother. She knew her mom was quick on the draw.
Hey, Pastor Steph.
Yes.
Can I get your dad's phone number? Because I mean, and I know you're grown and all that stuff, but I think you've lost some of the some of the ways. You've lost your ways because I think you need to get bounced once or twice again. For those of you who are in due time land, when Pastor Steph says she's going to call you in a few minutes, it's 12 hours later. Goodness. She needs to get bounced. Where's your dad? Where's your dad? That ain't I'll call you right back. You've lost your ways.
Oh my goodness gracious. I know now that I have no control. When I tell you stuff be coming up, I'm like, oh man. Okay, I'm gonna call. Oh man, I'm gonna call. I'm sorry. I lost my way. Yes, but it's unintentional. It was definitely unintentional. Oh my goodness. Well, speaking of mama and daughter, we've got a video to show you that I definitely want you to weigh in on in chat room world as well as the Due Time crew. We got to check in from our Pastor Vinny. Hey, Pastor Vinny. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. All right, Shantice, hit it.
What would you do in this situation? When your daughter was 13, she had her first child. And by the time she was 19, she had 4 kids. And they all live with you and your daughter. So one day you was at work and you get a phone call from the daycare telling you that your daughter never picked up her kids from daycare. And you tell the daycare, well, I can't pick them up because I'm at work. The daycare tells you, well, somebody don't come pick them up, I'm going to have to call CPS. You say, give me a few minutes, I'm on my way. Or as you on your way to go pick up your grandkids, you are calling your daughter, but there's no answer. You get to the daycare, you apologize for the lateness. And then you get in the car with the kids and y'all headed home, so you call your daughter again. She does not answer. You're calling your daughter all night and she is not answering. The next day comes. You still didn't hear anything from your daughter, so you started calling your daughter again. On the 4th phone call, she picks up and says, what? You answer, you say, what do you mean, what? You need to come home and get your kids because I have to go to work. Your daughter tells you she tired. She don't want to be a mother no more. She too young for this and she just want to live her life. You explained to her, I tried to tell you that when you was having these kids, but you insisted on having all these kids. So you insist your tail getting back home to take care of these kids so I can get back to work. She said, not going to happen. Talk to you later, and hung up. That was 7 years ago. So now when she had left, the kids were 6, 4, 2, and 6 months old. So now 7 years later, it's the youngest birthday. He's getting ready to turn 8 years old, so you're throwing him a birthday party. So while the birthday party going on, guess who decides they're going to walk in? Your daughter. Everybody's happy to see her. You're actually shocked and kind of upset with her because she did not call, text, write, FaceTime, send no money. No, you and them kids did not hear anything from your daughter in them whole 7 years. So while she's making her ways around saying hi to everybody, you pull her to the side and ask her, like, what's going on? Where you been? How's everything going? You just pop up like everything is fine. She said, yeah, everything is fine. The kids are taken care of well. I see y'all doing good. So what's the problem? You're looking at your daughter like she got 4 heads, like, huh? Girl, I just took care of your kids. You have no contact with us. And she said, you know what? That's all small talk. I'm here now and things are different. So you said to her, what do you mean? She says, well, tonight I'm taking the kids with me. And you say you can't do that because I have custody of the kids and I'm just not giving them to you like that. You left them. You had no contact with your kids for 7 years. She said, yeah, I understand that, but today's a different day and I'm ready to have contact with them now. So I'm taking them tonight. You say, absolutely not. I had to go to court to get your kids. And she looked at you and said, you went to court for my kids. I didn't ask you to go to court for my kids. You say, well, in order for me to take care of them, I had to do certain things, and getting them in school and stuff requires me to be a guardian. So I had to go to court. She says, I didn't ask you to do it. All I asked you and wanted you to do was take care of my kids. Well, thank you for doing that. I appreciate you. Now I'm taking my kids with me. You say, well, you got to take me to court if you want your kids. And she said, well, I'm going to take them. Call the cops on me. What do? Do you let your daughter just take her kids, or do you call the cops on her and say,
We're going to start with Brother Al. Brother Al, she says, what do you do? Terrence says she won't see them kids again. What do you do?
Oh, that's obvious. I'm calling Popo. Call the cops. I'm going to call the cops. You know, I took these kids. I went through all this, you know, to make sure that it was good. And she's right. You know, for me to take care of them, she had to go to the court to be legal guardian and so the kids can get to school, because she wasn't legal guardian, able to put the kids in foster care. So she was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take legal actions to make sure these kids are good. And I did this, and you coming over, you didn't even come over to have a conversation. I'm coming taking my kids. Whoa, hold on. There's steps to this. Now you feel I'm going to take my kids? No problem. I'm calling police. I ain't going to get back and forth with you and get in somewhere I may have to hurt you. I'm going to call police, and we're going to do this by the book.
All righty. Lady Tamika, she wants to know, what would you do?
7 whole years. And I heard nothing from you. You didn't call, you didn't write, you didn't text, you didn't send no smoke signal. 7 years I've had these mouths to feed. You know, I'm grateful and I'm glad, because a lot of times we don't do our due diligence and paperwork to make sure that we are covered. I'm glad that she went through the paperwork and became a guardian, because that's the only way that she would be proceeding to be able to make sure that the children can get to school, any type of medication. I'm their guardian. I've heard nothing from you. You've given me nothing. You didn't drop by to see the kids. Now after 7 oh, I'm good, you know. And I mean, like, I would lose my mind when I finally got you and you answer the phone. What? And you my seat, you know, and now you're trying to take all these children that I have been investing in for 7 years. Yeah, we call them the cops. Mm-hmm. Please come get your kids. Please come. I want you to come. Look, I'm gonna put a line right here. Come cross this line. But the police, you know, to do it the right way so that I don't lose my mind, I'm gonna call the cops.
Okay. Shantice, she wants to know, what would you do?
Didn't we just go over a story about a mama accidentally shooting a child? And y'all still playing these games? Listen, I don't see what the dilemma is. You are no longer their mother. As far as the paperwork shows, we ain't talking about who carried them, who pushed them out. Because when you decide to leave them again, you will be right back here at my door, leaving these children again. Absolutely not. I am not about to. You have proven how unstable you are in all your ways. I had to do my due diligence. I ain't finished raising my child, because you were a child when you started having your kids. But I had to include this in my life now. And no, there's no dilemma. No, you want to call the cops? Unfortunately, now your son has to see the cops show up at his birthday party. You trying to test my gangster? I guess they'll be making a special appearance today. There's no dilemma. And don't think you can come over here unannounced again either. Because now I got to get a restraining order. Now I got to show you how real it is. Because that's just completely, what kind of disrespect is that? So she didn't get beat enough when she was younger. Like, you think that she would just waltz up in here and just take them like you have rights. You gave up your rights when you left talking about you tired. You don't want to be a mother no more. Did you forget that? You forgot that part of the conversation? There's nothing to be said. We'll talk in court.
All righty. Pastor KL, she wants to know, what would you do?
Well, Shanti said in the earlier story about we don't know how they live, what's the situation. She's the reason why I got a gun. Because my daughter crazy. And one day, you know, as a prophet, God shows me that one day I'm going to have to shoot her. You know, because that's crazy. But let's just go even further back. She wouldn't have to worry about coming to a party. Because I always say, if you give up the cookies, I'm not taking care of the crumbs. Them kids would have been in the system. I'm taking 4 kids at my age. I can't even run down the street throwing a ball with the boy. I'm out of breath before I get to the corner. No, I'm not taking no 4 kids. You would have been having a party in the system, wherever you'd have been trying to find out where they were. I'm not taking 4. I'm not taking 1 child. Not me. No. And God forbid if I had to change a pamper or I'm not doing that. No. She wouldn't have to worry about coming to my house. They would not have been there.
All righty. Kenny says the daughter would be arrested for child neglect and she wouldn't be permitted in my house. We got to check in from Miss Willie. Hey, Miss Willie. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'll call the police myself because you trespassing. No, you cannot have your children. Take me to court and I will want all my money back in child support. Good morning. Step across this line, Caroline. Terry says also the mom must knew that was going to happen, so she went and did the right thing and got the paperwork done because she knows her daughter. Ms. Willie says, amen, preacher. Amen, pastor. Preach it, preach it, preach it. All right, so eventually you knew this day was going to come. Again, you know yours. you knew the day would come. So when you pulled her over and asked her, hey, how you, is everything all right, or how's it going? I don't care how it's going. That when she said that question, I'm like, well, who cares how it's going? When I pulled you to the side, I would have been saying one thing to you. You can leave alone, or you can leave with the cops. We wouldn't even have gotten to this conversation about these your kids, my kids, I got paperwork. We wouldn't have gotten that far. As soon as I saw you, whoever let you in would have got cussed out.
Yep.
Because you ain't got no key no more. You've been gone for 7 years. So my question is, how you get in here? Who let you in? And when I'm having stuff, every time that door opens, my head is looking, because I need you coming in. And I don't even have these kind of issues. But just guard your door. Good Lord. And I know. Now, all that conversation she had about what would you do? From the very beginning. From the very beginning. When you showed your face, I would have been like, okay, you got one choice. With or without the cops. That's your escort. You're not here to talk about nothing. So we got 911 on speed dial. So you if you care about these kids, you don't want the cops showing up to this birthday party. But if you don't, which you've shown you don't, so you just tell me right now. We would have been outside. It wouldn't have been no conversation. We wouldn't even have gotten this far. But here's what I want to ask you all. She said that the first time she had a child was when she was 13 years old. And by the time she was 19, she had 4. Is that what she said?
Yes, there were 4 kids.
Oh, somebody help me. Oh, Miss Willie says, cuss all the way out, because she's a bull creature. The bull creature to come across that line. I have a bat by my door waiting for you for introduction. Yeah. You were bold. You thought you was coming here for something. Anything. You thought wrong, as my mother would say. Well, you thought wrong. All right. So she had this first kid at 13. And she later on says, you were tired. Well, guess what? I told you that when you was having all these kids. She was having all the kids in her house. Lady Tamika, would she be having all them kids in your house is the question.
One of the things that I noticed, a lot about grandparents, I love them and I appreciate what they do, but a lot of times they condone, maybe on baby one, she went out, she stayed out a week, and this is not first. I just don't believe that she just up and left for 7 years. She probably went out and hanged out. She ain't told you nothing. You sitting in the house thinking, Lulu is downstairs, the mother, and she going out to a party, and now we got 4 kids later. How we get to this degree? So I guarantee you there were plenty of times where she left that child with grandma, and grandma condoned the foolishness. Now we 4 kids, and it's fine, because when I had the first child, she condoned it. Unfortunately, she enabled her to the degree that she thought that it was okay. But I'm gonna, leave for 7 years. And my thing is, when you come back, I'm looking for a hospital note, a doctor, something that told me you were down for 7 years, because you can't tell, nothing else would suffice. That you have to tell me that you were in bed in a hospital with an IV up your arm and you could, with tubes down your body. That's the only thing that would save you when you come in my house.
All righty. Shantice, would she have 4 kids from 13 to 19 in your home? And what would you do to prevent this from happening?
Well, no. Because once you had the first one at 13 and it was because of consensual sex, you and that baby would have been in somebody's boot camp.
13.
Put that baby on that same treadmill. You got to go on. Stand at attention, about face, all that. Y'all got to do all that. Because that just, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're just learning how to properly wash yourself at 13. What are you doing? What are you doing? And then you continue this on throughout so your whole teenage life was filled with nothing but having children. That's because, as Lady Tamika said, you enabled this. You didn't make this girl go out and get no job. You didn't make this girl learn what it is to take care of this baby, because ain't no way at 13 you have your own kid and you really understand the magnitude of being a parent and you keep having children back to back to back. There is absolutely no way. So for you to be all this upset, like, well, I took care of these kids. You've been taking care of the kids. The only difference was now the paperwork is in your name. That's the only difference. But absolutely not. As I was watching it, I was just like, wow, me at 13 having children. First of all, if my mother had to look for me, again, there goes the gun getting cocked back. But the way you're raised has everything to do with the decisions that you make. Has everything to do most of the time on how you feel like you could just walk off and pop back up and you this bold to say something. If I left, I would have had to understand that until my children were old enough to live on their own, I'm not seeing them again. Because unless I come back with the Lord, I don't want to have to face this lady. That's just the type of family I grew up in. Because not only would I have to contend with my mother, I would have had to contend with everybody else. And it's to show up at the party. And I'm pretty sure she thought she was showing up with some gifts too. I'm pretty sure she didn't show up empty-handed. So she thought she was doing something. No. But unfortunately, you created this monster. You allowed her to think throughout her whole teenage life it was okay. You allowed her to think that when she walked away, it was okay. And that's why she figured she could just come back up and say, well, my kids, and this whole ownership thing be killing me. My kids, these ain't your kids. My kids are coming with me. No.
All righty.
Pastor
Okay.
Steph,
We got, yes.
Can you imagine the look on the mother's face when she goes, he's pregnant again? Like,
Child. That's why I'm asking this question. All righty. Terrence says, now once, did anyone ask what's up with the father? Seems like he was never in the picture. Brother Al, I would like for you to respond to that.
Okay, she's 13 years old. You know, they don't know nothing about being okay, I got a baby, that's what it is. You know, like you said, the grandmother, and we love the grandmothers, but they enable their children. You know, when she had that child, she should have let her know, okay, you had this child, this is what it's like to be a mother. Mom, I'm going to the prom. Oh, no, sir. You got a child to take care of. Mom, I'm going to go to a party. You got to take care of that child. So the grandmother, she didn't do that. You know, some of the grandmother I know somebody who did that. She had the child more than the daughter, like it was her child. So the daughter out partying, having a good old time. Like, no, I got another grandbaby. Hey, the baby here, nothing we can do about it. But you gonna take care of this child. If she'd have had her taking care of that child, then she wouldn't have had the rest of them. And it's like Tara said too. Okay, you made my daughter pregnant. Where you at? Bruh, okay, you 13, you help it. I don't care what you do. Go, look, come on, I'm gonna take you to the store. You're gonna pack some bags and get some change. I don't care what you do. You're going to help. You ain't getting away with that.
All righty. Pastor KL, Terrence says, now once does anyone ask where the father is?
Listen, what's understood does not need to be explained. You know the father's not there. There's no father that's going to let you have one child. You know, let alone keep coming back with children. That's totally. You already understand that scenario. But for me, you know, we had a conversation I think a couple of weeks ago when y'all was talking about, you know, children got feelings and you got to get them a little leeway. This is what happens when you give children leeway. This is exactly what happens. This is what happens when you say, okay, let them express themselves. She really expressed herself. She laid prostrate and expressed herself 4 different times.
No.
4 different times. You know, I mean, again, you know, y'all talk about how mean and how strict I am. No, we not having no 13-year-old pregnant people in here. Let me tell you something. My daughter, and I tell y'all all the time, you know, she was talking about she's in the ABC community and all that other stuff. But at 16, I didn't care. We went and got birth controls. Why? Because sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. And I'm not taking no chance. You're not coming in my house saying, hey, by the way, oops, can we talk? Because, listen, I can't do the rest of my life in jail for killing someone who impregnated you and you out here still doing your thing. I'm sorry.
All right. So Terrence was asking about the dad of the baby.
Oh. Listen, okay, so at 13 years old, how old is the dad? 14? You really think he's trying to be? He on fries. You can't buy no pamper on fries. That ain't happening. You know,
soon he'll be on letters, though. Soon he'll be on letters. and then burgers, and that's when the big bucks start rolling.
You should be asking about where's the dad's parents, because at 13 the parents are taking care of the child, not the biological parents. That's not happening. Listen, at 30, the grandmama taking care of the child.
Yeah. Terrence, Miss Willie says, Terrence, it might be multiple fathers and not just one father. 13 and by 19 you have 4 children. Terrence says, now I'm sorry. Terrence says the mom was fast back then. Maybe he was into bad things back then, drugs, whatever. One to a better life for her daughter, accepted the first one, but then things just got out of control. Miss Willie says too many grandparents jump up and take responsibility from day one because her daughter is young, taking care of the children. So guess what? Do your mother don't need to be there when you are doing. Hey, hold on. Terrence says you won't fear her mom because her mom always babied her. That's why she assumed she could just walk up in the house, take her kids like nothing because she knew her mom wasn't going to do anything. Miss Willie says, I'm wondering if the mother ever met any of the daddies or the daddy that this dirt girl keeps popping up pregnant. I'm not watching anybody's babies when you're out trying to shake a leg and I'm up here changing pampers. Ms. Willie says, Pastor, what they call at the missionary position. Sir says, so, no, okay. Yo, this is some issue here. You come home pregnant at 13. I remember being in junior high school, and there was a girl who was pregnant. And only to find out that she already had a baby at home. And we were like in the 7th grade, 7th, 8th grade. And she already had a baby at home. This was her 2nd child. And we hadn't even gotten out of junior high school. This was her 2nd kid. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. What do you do as a parent? I'm sorry. You know, okay, so maybe we'll do the 13 thing. Okay, that could be a stupid movement. But nah. 2nd baby, you got to go. I'm signing you up to go into somewhere. There's no conversation. Because clearly, this is your life. This your life. This your life. And you know what? Clearly, you already have in your head what you want to do with your life. And I can't do nothing about it. I can't stop you. Because, see, I can't babysit you, lock you up in the house. I'm not keeping no kids. I'm not babysitting. I never understand these people who are grandchildren. Now they become the parent. What? No, I raised my kids already. No. How did I get here? Get that. Just like Miss Willie said, and some of you have said, partying, don't come home at night. You have lost your ever-loving mind. That ain't happening. That is not happening. How do we get here is my question. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. No. We're not doing this.
And you know,
We're
Pastor
not
Steph,
doing this.
when you look at this young lady, and you saying from age 13 and 19, you had 4 babies. So that means you was going back to back to back to back.
Yes, yes.
8-9 months. I forgot.
Yes.
9 months. Then you got pregnant again 9 months. Then you got pregnant again 9 months. Back to back.
Yes.
You did not learn.
No. And that's why I said, okay, maybe the first one, you got stupid. There was an oops. All right. Weren't thinking. But after that, no. It's got to be a home or something you could go stay in, and you can keep having them kids as you wish. You can keep having them kids. Just keep on populating. But I am not. Miss Willie says, I had a classmate, had her first baby at 12. I couldn't wrap it around my head if I wanted one at 12. Trevor says, say no to drugs. That's all I can say. Miss Willie said every time she went for her 6 weeks checkup, she was pregnant. Absolutely. And it's funny because I just got finished talking about somebody else to Shantice the other day, that somebody went for she was 16 years old when she had a baby. And when she went back for a 6 weeks checkup, her womb had dropped. Why? Because she had sex right behind having the baby. This is what happens. Your body can't handle all this. It's not even developed. You're 13 years old. Your body hasn't even developed. No. And neither has your brain.
In middle school, there was a girl. I was 14, so she was 13. And that's when middle school went up to 9th grade. And we had dance class together. And she couldn't really move too much. And that's how the conversation came up. She was pregnant by her stepbrother at 13. So so Pastor Steph, you said you had one in your class. Ms. Willie said she had one in her class. I went to school with one, and none of us are saying we were even in high school yet. This was middle school. We couldn't make our way out of junior high school before someone talking about they pregnant. Yeah. It's just like, what? Like, how do you even, like she said, how do you wrap your head around that at 13?
And then
12.
You know,
12.
Society doesn't help because they do put things in place. And then, oh no, you can't do that to the kids. It's not, because they used to have a thing where, you know, they had these young girls like, I want to have a baby, and you know, they try to express to them, no, you don't know nothing about taking care. So they used to have this thing where they would have them put on this pregnant thing to see how it feels to have all that weight on you. Then they would have a doll baby that would cry. Here's your baby. Here, you got to hold this doll, and this doll would cry and do things like that. And you had some girls that went through it and be like, oh, no, I'm not trying to have no baby. But then they look at it, oh, you hurting the kids. You're messing the kids' mind up. It's like the society is so timid that they don't want you to tell the kids nothing. They don't want sex education in school where these kids can learn. Listen, this is things that can happen to you. They take all that stuff out. Or if you do it, I mean, we had a point now, Pastor Steph, where you remember you in school acting up, and they say, you know what? Put your head down on that desk. Okay, you know what? Put your head down on that desk because you acting up right now.
I remember.
We cannot do that no more. It's corporate punishment. When you give a child time out, and that that's the other side of the fence. But in school, you say, okay, you know what? You need a time out because you're doing it. That child cannot sit in time out no more than 3 minutes. So they just taking things out, because if you go past that, it's corporal punishment. You say go stand in the corner, it's corporal punishment. So I'm sitting there like, so what should I do? Me, I don't care. I don't follow none of those rules. That's why I get the respect I do. That's why I get the respect. Yeah, you know what? You want to get me in trouble? Go right ahead, because I refuse to let a 10-year-old kid cuss me out, and I'm a grown man. It's gonna be a situation. But they take these things out of the school. And so these kids, they looking at this. It's worse now with the social media, And then, like Shantice and y'all said, you'll see a girl that's pregnant, and she got it. So now you got the other little girl, like, oh, the baby's so cute. I want one. Crazy.
Just borrow, babysit.
Yeah.
Let's see if you still. All righty. Okay, let's get these last little comments out of the way. All righty. Miss Willie says, happy to help. It's these stories. To Terrence, it seems like if you look at the little girl, she got pregnant just by looking. That's how fast she was. That's what Terrence says. Miss Willie says, look, it takes 2 years for your body to get back in shape after the first baby. No, Miss Willie, they said 4 years. They said it takes 4 years for your body to go back to the way it should be before you had babies. 4 years. So it never made it. It never made it. Ms. Willie says this pregnant school was right across the street from the junior high school. That was the crazy part. Wow. She said, I taught preschool and my thing was have a happy seat. If you 4 years old, you're going to sit there for 4 minutes. If 3, you're going to sit there for 3 minutes. Lord have mercy. Thank you, my DEW Time crew, for thank you. Oh, Miss Willie says my children are 12 years apart. Child.
She had 4 years and more. Hey, Pastor Steph, before we go, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come by your house and bring you a bat. I got you a bat to keep by your door. I know you don't do the guns and stuff. I'm gonna bring you this Louisville Slugger to keep by your door just in case. Cause you sit there, I want you to be protected. I'm bringing you a bat.
Thank you so much, brother. I'll make sure, for the hammers, I couldn't use a regular hammer. I had to go get a baby hammer. So make sure you give me a baby bat, something that I can handle. Thank you so much.
With the plastic grip on it, with the rubber grip, so you can grip it.
That's right. I don't drop it. That's right. Thank you so much for thinking of me. All right, my DEW Time crew, thank you so much for your contribution into today's conversation. We pray you have a blessed day.
You too.
Thank you, you too.
Oh, yeah.
I always end up with the few. Oh my goodness gracious. Mom wants to know, what do you do? What do you do? Oh, what a rhetorical question. What do you do? Because unfortunately, to ask this question now is quite a bit late. I would love to have gone back into her psyche when her daughter was 13. Everybody has said she just didn't make the right moves, because even her shared self says, she had her first baby. What'd you do? Your daughter has her first baby at 13. And then by the time she's 19, she has 4 children. That doesn't happen in my world. That doesn't happen in my world. Like I said, you got one time for an oops. It happens. It happens. But thereafter, what happens? Are you teaching your children anything when you do not discipline them? This seems to have been our mantra for the past 8 weeks. There is such a breakdown with this parent-child thing. Whether you killing the kid, not like today's story where mom mistakenly killed, but the parents who acted out of anger and killed the child, whether you intentionally killed the child, in some other shape, form, or fashion, whether the child has killed the parent. There's a real big breakdown here, and it all goes back to God. I think what God is doing is he's showing us that no matter what, I have offered myself, and I'm still offering myself, but I'm really, really giving you an opportunity to see what life is like without me. What life is like without me. This is the thing. What happens when we say no to God? The word of God says, if my people who are called by my name should turn from their wicked and evil ways, I will hear them, and I will then clear up all of this. I will clean this land. We always talk about positioning ourselves. God, who is not going to force himself on any of us, he makes it very clear. He said, you're either with me or you're against me. I wish you would be hot or cold, because lukewarm, I'll spit you out. He wants us to make a decision. Now, the decision is ours to make, fully understanding the consequences. So at 13, daughter did not understand the consequence, but mom did. When she came home with the second child, mom did. When she came home with the third, mom did. So in all of this, did you ever, since you decided to keep your child in the home, did you ever take your child and offer her God? Or did you just keep going at the same rate, same pace, making the same decisions until the time she said, I'm tired of being a mother? Can I be honest? I'm sure she was tired of being a mother, because she was 13 when she started. 13 is a time of life you're supposed to be having friends and enjoying school life and having extracurricular activities, and whether you're into sports or the art or science or whatever it is, you're supposed to be enjoying yourself. So I don't have any doubt that by the time she got to child number 4, whether she understood this thing or not, that she was tired, because it's only natural. First of all, she's 13, her body hasn't finished developing. It got stunted because she was only 13 when she started. You were not developed emotionally. So now you're dealing with 4 crying babies. You're on demand. Now, mom might be helping you, but I'm sure there were those little pieces of time where mom said, ain't no sleeping. Come on over here. We got 4. We got 4 to take care of. You could not get yourself together mentally. How can you? You have 4 other people to worry about. At 4 times, you got 4. At one time, you got 4 different things going on, including your own. Physically, how is your body handling? How is your body handling just having 4 kids back to back on a body that has not finished developing? I can guarantee you were tired, because tired is the only place you could go. As parents, what are we doing? What are we doing? Because if you take them to a therapist or a counselor, Brother Al is right. They're going to tell you, do this and do that. And those things don't work. Those things don't work. They've taken all the discipline off the table. We talk many a day here on This Due Time about how we were disciplined. I just got finished telling you one of my own stories. I was 18 years old. I was 18 years old. And my father was bouncing me off the walls. And I'd already been away to college. Just came back for a break. Discipline was still going on. My mother went in her grave at 78 years old. I was 55. She wasn't disciplining me, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, she felt like she had to check you. My sister was 54. She didn't care how old you were. It just didn't stop. But in this society, they are stripping us. And then when the children are out of control, they are criticizing us. They're judging us. They're rating us. They're not helping with anything. But they're the ones that's stripping us. Why? Because unfortunately, you have those who took discipline and turned it into abuse. We are really getting a hard look at what this world would be like without God. A very hard reality. that I would be on social media asking, what would you do? Because frankly, I could care less what you do. Because if I did decide to take on them 4 kids, because now mom then gave up her life. Remember, mom said when they called her, she was at work. So mom had a life. So mom had been trying to do the grandma thing as a mom. And here's what I realize happens. When you don't do what you need to do as a mother, you will forever be a mommy. Not a mother. You will forever be mom. Because until God either closes your eyes or their eyes, you're going to still be babying them in some shape, form, or fashion. I told you about when I went to visit somebody on Rikers, there was an old lady. We had to help her off the bus, help her on the bus. She had a cane and she had this brown bag. And that brown bag is what they would put their dirty laundry in. When you got off the visit, you went to the window and you collected what the inmate would be sending to you. And when she got on the bus to go, she had to go to the window to deliver something to him. And when she got off the visit, she was collecting the brown bag and everybody just looked at each other. Like, she can hardly move. She's taking his dirty clothes. And she was talking to one of the girls, one of the women who was visiting. If you don't do what you need to do when they are younger, you will forever be their mommy. And in these days and in these times, we cannot afford to forever be mommy. We have got to prepare our children for the real world because we're making a mess of them. Who do you think wants He's in jail. Now, I know others who wash stuff out by hand. They're going to do what they need to do. They surely not sending it home with their elderly mother. And she'll probably die and he'll still be up in there or going back and forth there. If we don't raise our children correctly, we will forever be their mommy. We will not prepare them for relationships. We will not prepare them for friendships. We will not prepare them to get a job. We will not prepare them for anything that has to do with life. Because they won't know anything. In what world can you imagine if he were to come out and get a relationship? If elderly mama had to come on a visit to get his dirty clothes, then what will his woman be expected to do? That's what mom has prepared him for. And I just kept looking over and I was like, oh Lord. Oh Lord. I wanted to say something to her so bad, but I was like, you know what? That ain't my business. Here I am, disabled, trying to help her up a step. And they trying to help me up a step. But that's how much he cared about her. Because before he went in there, because remember, Rikers is a short term. They only going in there for max of 24 months if they stay on the island. So she was on that cane, because she was old. She was on that cane before he went up in there. But he don't care. Better yet, when the visit was over, there were times when we got up first to leave the floor and they would still be in their chair. So he had to help her up out of that chair in order for her to leave the floor. So you were helping mom. So if you didn't even know mom needed your help or needed somebody's help, you knew then. This is the way your children treat you when you don't prepare them for life. And this is what's happening with these women. And I have not seen it happen any differently than it backfires. They always expect for you to continue to kiss their behind. Every time I see a mom step up and now she becomes grandma, 9 out of 10 times you will forever be grandma. She will always come and go. She will always give you her behind the kiss. There's no appreciation. No, because that's what we've graduated to. How would they possibly have appreciation for you when they've been running all over you? It has not, I'm telling you, I've not seen it work. A very rare occasion where I've seen a mother step up and really say, thank you, Mom. I really, really, and show it, not just this fake thank you, this temporary fake thing that you're saying out of your mouth. And this is what happens when this is who you serve. This is what happens when you serve. Because when you serve the enemy, there will never be a good thank you. When you serve the enemy, there will never be a good return. When you serve the enemy, there will never be any real payoff. That's what happens when you serve the enemy. And that's in any shape, form, or fashion. You know, the word of God says you can't serve two masters because you'll end up loving one and hating the other. It's not just money. It's not money by far. It's not money by far. Whenever you put something or someone before God, so here's how this works. If you are raising your children, you are the helicopter mama or parent, and you taking them to sports and arts and vacations and all these things, and you don't give them God, you are now worshiping them. You're not worshiping God. And God says, do it your way. But it always backfires. It always backfires. It always backfires. When we put anything before God, it will backfire. And anytime you are serving your children, your spouse, your job, any extracurricular activities, your friends, your parents, your family, he says, if you put mother, father, sister, brother, anyone before me, you are none of mine. Who on this earth could afford right now to be disowned by God? And even in all of that, he still shows his grace and mercy because you're still breathing. The rain still falls on the just as well as the unjust. He said, if you put anyone before me, you are none of mine. This is why I say, y'all think that the stuff that I say is just, this is Pastor Steph. No, I got scripture to back up what I'm saying. And can I tell you something? The more I serve God, the more I read and study, the more all of this makes sense. And when we do these stories, this all makes sense. This is why she's sitting up here talking about, well, what would you do? Because can I tell you something? This is a no-brainer for Stephanie. If I did make that move, there would be no, y'all would have to be nice and grown, or you better come correct. You better start off by writing me a letter, making a phone call, something. You better not show up at my door. Showing up unannounced is disrespectful. I'm here. Yeah, so is the air. Is it toxic or clean? Ooh. So I'm sorry, you popping up is disrespectful. Somebody said, well, where's the forgiveness? They ain't got nothing to do with forgiveness. There's a way you need to make sure you do this. You need to make sure there's a way you do this. And after you done disappeared for 7 years, you need to come in a certain manner. I'm willing to talk. I'm willing to talk. Let's get this going. Because if there's a possibility that in those 7 years, you've had a change of heart, you have an understanding differently than 7 years ago when you were, because right now you're about 26 years old. If you left when you was 19, 20, you're 26, 27 years old now. A whole lot can happen in 6 or 7 years. A whole lot can happen in 7 years. So my prayer is that, something has happened and you realize, man, I really messed up. I really did that to my mother and my kids. All because of my indiscretions when I was a kid. But you know what? I got it together now. But you don't pop up at my door Because see, there's always a risk that you incorrect. And guess what? She came incorrect. I'm taking my kids. You know, there's a movie that used to say, we could do this the easy way, we could do this the hard way. You make up your mind. That's what God says. We can do this the easy way, we can do this the hard way. And it doesn't mean that it will be flawless. It doesn't mean that it will be clean. It doesn't mean that it will be easy. But that's a start. Because guess what? If you knew I still lived there, there's somebody that you know where you could have gotten to me. Call me, hey Ma, you know, it's me. I'm so sorry. Nice start. But because there's been no growth, there's been no learning, and all you think about now is all that you allowed to happen back then, and now it's come back to bite you in the behind. There is no handbook, as we always say, for how to raise a child. But in all honesty, there is. There is a handbook because, you know, and I'm gonna close shortly. But one of the things that God taught me, and I've said this to you before, but for those of you who did not hear me say this, when I was doing the women's prayer, God gave me to tell all of my listeners, stop praying for your husband, because I was dealing with Christian wives. He said, stop praying for your husband. Stop praying for your baby daddy. Stop praying for the father of your children. Stop praying for your father. Stop praying for your son. Stop praying for your nephew. Stop praying for that individual and pray for the man. Pray for the man. Pray that that man meets God. Because in doing so, if he gives his life to God, when God teaches him the fundamentals of being a godly man, guess what happens? All the things that come with being a good spouse will automatically happen. All the things that come with being a good dad, it will automatically happen. Why? Because those are things that are byproducts of being a godly man. See how that works? Because once you look at the things of God and you see, you know what, God, I'm committing my life to you. I'm going to change because I don't like that person that I was. And I want to give my life to you. I'm going to trust your word. I'm going to trust the lifestyle that you've given. I'm going to trust your prescription. I'm going to trust your medicine. I'm going to trust your will. I'm going to trust your way for my life. And I'm going to live just like that. And as he applies himself to the components and characteristics of being a godly man, then he's going to realize that when he was a selfish husband, he's going to realize, wait. I can't be a selfish person. Ooh, pay attention. I can't be a selfish person, because when I'm a selfish person, that means I'm a selfish husband, and I'm a selfish dad. It means I'm a selfish co-worker. It means I'm a selfish son. It means that I'm a selfish brother. It means that I'm a selfish friend, because an unstable man is unstable in all his ways. If I'm selfish, that means across the board, I'm a selfish person. So when God alerts me to the fact that I'm perfect, automatically I begin to shift in every role I play. Yeah, it happens. Because God will begin to work across the board. It becomes lateral. That's why sometimes the things we want to get rid of, we can't get rid of. The things we want to stop, we can't stop that before we stop some other things. You just can't start picking stuff up off the tree because you feel it's worse than. Because we've got to get to the root of that thing. So God says, stop praying for your man. Stop praying for your husband. But see, all of that is jaded. Why? Because when you pray for your husband, guess what? You pray for your husband because you don't want him to be a bad husband for you. I want him to love me. I want him to shower me. I want him to serve me. I want him to treat me like gold, because I'm watching so-and-so's husband treat her like gold. I want us to go on vacation. I need him to fix our finances. He ain't fixing none of that before he fixes that man. He is not going to fix your husband before he fixes the man, the core of who he is. Well, how did we get there? Because I'm trying to teach you that if you have found no reason to give your life to God and your children, don't stand a chance up here. Unless your child picks up and wants to just go to church, because maybe their friend is going. Because I used to have a young man who used to come in, I think he was about 15, 16 years old. He used to just come to church. Nobody in his family came to church. He used to come to church on his own. So does that happen every once in a while? Yes, it happens once in a while. But you as the parent, you need to set the example. Because when God begins to deal with you and the components of who you are and the characteristics that he needs to fix in you, then automatically you will become a better mother. And when you become a better mother, the chances of your children becoming better children are greater. Will they become perfect? No, because we see it all the time. I used to tell people all the time, we can't look at the kids of the minister, of the pastor, and all of a sudden they should be ashamed of themselves. They're their own individual. And no matter how much we've given our lives to the Lord, that doesn't automatically fix them. They got to want to live better. But with you being an example, you now help the process. You now help them find a better path. So when you opt not to give your child God because you haven't given yourself God, what do they have to pattern themselves behind but this world and the way the world does it? And that's what was happening. For whatever the reason is, this 13-year-old felt that whatever she needed was on the outside, was with a man between her legs. That's what was helping her heart. That was what was helping her feel wanted. That was helping her feel needed. That was comforting her. And pop goes the weasel each time. We don't know if this young lady had one father for all them kids, or we don't know if there were 2 or 3 or 4 individual fathers. We don't know. We don't know. But what we do know is that in all that she was searching for, she didn't find it. Sometimes you'll hear young ladies say, I want a baby so I have something to love. Or I want a baby because I want someone to love me. Baby, before that baby loves you, you have to do a whole lot for that baby. Because the baby don't know about love. That's something that's nurtured. And we don't really know about love if we don't know about God. Because the word of God just says it so clearly. You don't know anything about love if you don't know God, because God is love. It's not until you get into that word of God that you start learning about respect. And this street theory of you got to give respect before you get respect. The word of God says you have to give respect regardless of whether you get it or not. This whole thing of I can forgive, but I can't forget, that's not the word of God. We have never been charged to forget. We've been charged to forgive. But let me tell you something. There's a blessing, believe it or not, there's a blessing in forgiving even though we remember. That's when you know there's love. Yeah. If we were going to eventually forget, then why forgive? Because eventually it will leave our mind. We ain't going to have to worry about it no more. But the beauty is, I can look at you and I can still love you because I've forgiven you. There's a lot of things that this world is going to tell our children is right. And we at home can't tell our children is wrong because we have not found the right way to do things. It's not until God displays to us and we receive it and accept it until we can actually live it out. And as long as you are putting yourself in God's hands, for him to shape and remold you over and over. Because let me tell you something. You see, when they show a potter and the clay and they molding it, and then all of a sudden one little thing goes wrong and the whole thing falls apart and they got to start all over again. What do you think God is doing? That's our life. And it's not because God, as the potter, is messing up. It's because we are messing up, and we just knocked down every brick that was built. So there's a lot of work we got to do, and it starts with us, and it becomes infectious to our children. I have 3 girls. I have one 40, 35, and 27. By the grace of God, my 40-year-old, who you see here with me every day, and my 27-year-old, they have both been baptized and given their lives to the Lord. And I see the growth in them. Some little areas a little quicker than others. Some are still kind of, but again, until God works on this thing, this ain't gonna get fixed. So we're gonna have to wait that out. My middle girl, who has not accepted Christ, she's a good mother, good woman, blah, 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 but her life ain't gonna be nothing in comparison to if she were to give her life to the Lord. That's when she's going to really be able to see how great her life is. And all I could do is continue to give it to her. So they were all 3 raised with me being a Christian mother at a certain point, because when I was a young mother, I wasn't a Christian mother. But as I got older, I began to give my life to the Lord more and more and more. And here's what you see. And that's all I have to offer my girls is God. Because every bit of advice I give them is God. I can't give a separate level of advice than I give under God's banner. So in other words, I'm not standing on the pulpit giving one advice but I'm giving a whole different advice to my daughters. No, everything I give has God in it. It comes from a component of having a godly life. So sometimes they're going to understand it and they're going to not understand it other times, because if she doesn't have God, then she don't understand. Why are you doing that? Why won't you do that? Because in the world is telling you either do or you don't, but I'm living by God's standards. So that's all we can do for our children. So when mom asks, what would you do? Give her God. Even at 26 or 27, and you didn't do it at 13 through 19, give her God now. Give her the proper steps in doing things. You ain't got to be all ghetto when she show up at the door, because like I said, I would pull her outside to the side. Okay, we're going to do this one way or the other. There was a way you should have done this. You should have called me, sent me a smoke signal, a telegram, 2 cans of the string. I get what you, but you showing up. Mm-mm. So I'm going to ask you to leave nicely. And if you choose not to leave nicely, we can handle it another way. But you're not about to upset this whole day and this celebration because you have not graduated and become more mature and intelligent. That's God. It's not the rah-rah with you basing up and all of that. And then we can have a conversation. So I'll give you my phone number. Let me know when you want to talk. We'll meet at the diner. We can meet in the park. We open to talk right now. That's God. That calm, as angry as you may be. How dare you show up at my door? But that calm is God. The scripture that says, be slow to anger. That's the scripture. That's God. There's no reason why you got to turn it up because she is here to talk. I'm going to take mine. We can do this the easy way. We can do this the hard way. But trust me, in these 7 years that you've been away from your mama, I done learned a couple things. So you put me to the test if you want to. Ain't no threat. I'm just giving you the reality. There you go. Let her see Jesus in you, because that calm in you just might do something to her. With all her intent, you may shut that down some. And it may make us step back and say, you know what? Let me go correct. Even if she doesn't want to, she may do just that. So that's what no matter until God close our eyes or their eyes, our obligation is to give our children God, whether they are our child children or our adult children. Give them God. There you have it. For the last 2 months, that's our constant conversation. Hasn't changed. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us today and helping to keep that chat room alive. Please do not miss this opportunity to give Christ your life right now. It makes the difference. Please do not miss the opportunity to strengthen that relationship with the Lord. Right now, it makes the difference, because later is not promised to anyone. You do not want God to close your eyes and you are not on the right path. Even after you've given your life to the Lord, it still may not be acceptable enough to Him. Until tomorrow, God spares. Where's Freestyle Friday? We made it, y'all. Our first week in the brand new 2026. God spare our life. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, I love you.